Hey, what's up guys, this is Mac. Welcome to NCR India free video tutorial channel on YouTube. This is our first video regarding Java core, and in this tutorial I'm gonna give you a quick overview of Java. Right, so what is basically Java is built around the object oriented programming. And before learning about the object oriented programming, I just want to tell you something about the program, that a program consists of the two units the two elements called code and data. So what is a code? A code is basically refers to the set of instructions which has to be applied on some data or the information being supplied by the user as input, right? And you may also say that there's functions or some process which has to be implemented on the data supplied by the user. And what is data? Data is basically the information that a user has to supply to a program. Like if we're having a program of a calculator, and in a program of calculator we have to supply the two inputs, two numbers, to add them, subtract them, divide or multiply, whatever you want, right? So let's move further. And there are two approaches that govern how a program is constructed. So the first approach is called process oriented model. Now what is process oriented model? It also refers to as the code acting on data. Now why are we saying it is basically the code acting on data? Because in a process oriented model you will be having a series of instructions which have to be implemented on some data, right, to manipulate it. And that's why it is called the code acting on the data. Code refers to the set of instructions and the functions, the total process which is actually implemented on some data, right? So that's why we're saying it exactly means that code acting on a data, right? And in such approach usually problem appears when the program grows larger and more complex. Like if we're having a complete calculator program, there you will be having many functions and the data will be same, right? So that's the reason in that case, if you're gonna make the every function in that program in a sequence of linear instructions, then it will be bulkier, it will be very messy, and in that kind of and in that case such approach will cause you many issues of messy program or maybe the bulkier, right? To manage the increasing complexity, to manage it, there is another approach is there, which is called object oriented programming. Now what is the object oriented programming? It basically organizes a program around its data. Data means objects, that's why it is called object oriented programming or data oriented programming, and a set of the well defined interfaces to that data. Okay, so it basically organizes a program around its data and a set of well defined interfaces to that data. So it is also refers to as the data controlling access to code. Now why are we saying it is data controlling access to code? Because when talking about the data refers to the objects, right? So in the case of the data, we can actually break it down into some manageable units of different data which can send the message and receive the messages between themselves, and in that way they actually execute the code. That's why it is called the data controlling access to code. Okay, so now let's before learning the object oriented programming principles, we need to understand a basic element of the object-oriented programming, that is called abstraction. What is abstraction? The basic definition, or we can I can only define in the way I know, that the abstraction process is basically it is used to hide the certain details and only show the essential features of an object. And what does it mean? Like let's take an example of a car. Now what is a car? Car has actually made up of with many spare parts. Okay, but a driver don't need to concern with the spare parts. So what spare parts it's having or whatever it is, and how many systems are there in the car. No, for the driver there is only one essential purpose of a car, that he has to commute between the two places. So a car has has a single essential feature for the driver, that it can it can let the driver to commute between the two places. That's the essential feature for the driver, right? So this is the called this is actually called the abstraction. Abstraction actually allows the driver to see the car as a single object to use for the traveling purposes. But actually the car in itself has many parts, which always involved in the during while which always involved while a driver drives the car, right? But driver actually don't need to worry about those parts. So this is the basic definition or basic meaning of the abstraction, that the abstraction actually makes it easy for the user to deal with a program, because program may contain the many parts, but user don't need to deal with every part. User just need to supply the data to a single program, and the program evaluates it itself, right? That's the abstraction. Okay, now let's move further on the principles of the object-oriented programming. I'm just giving you a basic definition or just basic meaning of these terms, and we are actually gonna study these all of these in very detail, but in later tutorials, right? So there are three principles of the OOP. The first is called encapsulation. Now what is encapsulation? Encapsulation means the binding the data and the code together with the help of classes. We're going to talk about the classes, and that where you will see that the code and the data both will be binded together. Code may refers to the functions, which a program may be having different functions, right, with the data together, and that's it. So let's come to the second principle, which is called inheritance. What is inheritance? The acquiring the properties of one object by another object is called inheritance. It may also if you are having a class, in the class if there are the three objects, the two objects may inherit the properties of the first object, right? Now let's come to the polymorphism. Now what is the polymorphism? The polymorphism actually means that one method is to be implemented on the different classes of objects. Like if you are having the class of circles and triangles, and we are having a single method that will calculate the area of any shape. It may be a circle, it may be a triangle. So we are having a different class of objects, right? But the method which will be implemented on them will be the same. That's to calculate the area. This is the phenomena is called the polymorphism. So that's it for this tutorial. We'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye, and keep watching our channel. Okay, bye bye. Take care. Have fun.